Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you exercises on transforming your reality and putting the law into test and prove it for yourself that it works. And now I will go to the first part of the quote. Even though your problems appear fixed and real, you have felt the subjective psychological state to be real to the point of receiving the thrill of that reality. You have experienced the secret of creation, for you have felt the reality of the subjective. You have fixed a definite psychological state which in spite of all opposition or precedent will objectify itself, thereby fulfilling the name of Jacob, the supplanter. You know, based on your experiences, your problems feel real and solid, like facts you cannot argue with, but you have had another kind of experience too, moments where you imagined something so strongly that it felt real, as an actual feeling in your body, like excitement, joy, whatever it was. So even though nothing physical was happening, your imagination made it feel true. So that's the important clue. If a made-up feeling can feel that real, it means that feelings, not just facts, have power. And this is exactly how reality gets made. You feel something as true on the inside, and eventually it becomes true on the outside too. If you pick a specific feeling or mental picture on purpose and hold onto it firmly, really feel it as real, it does not matter how impossible it seems right now or how fixed your current situation looks. That inner feeling will eventually push its way out and become your new reality by replacing what's there now. So your new inner feeling, even though the current situation seems to have the natural right to stay, your new feeling, if held strongly enough, steps in and takes its place instead. You already know inner feelings can feel real, you have experienced it. And that proves feelings are powerful enough to shape outer reality. So if you deliberately feel something as true and keep feeling it, it will eventually replace your current reality, no matter how solid that reality currently seems. And here's how you can use it to change everything around you in life. Here are a few practical examples of this drama. First is the blessing or making a thing real. Sit in your living room and name a piece of furniture, rug or lamp that you would like to have in this particular room. Look at that area of the room where you would place it if you had it. Close your eyes and let all that now occupies that area of the room vanish. In your imagination, see this area as empty space. There is absolutely nothing there. Now begin to fill this space with the desired piece of furniture. Sense and feel that you have it in this very area. And imagine you are seeing that which you desire to see and continue in this consciousness until you feel the thrill of possession. So this is the steps on the process of taking something that's only a feeling inside your mind and turning it into something real and solid in your outer life. This is the example of what he calls the blessing or making a thing real. So making a thing real means taking something that currently only exists as a wish or an idea in your head and walking it through a process so that it eventually becomes an actual physical object sitting in your actual physical world. This first example is meant to show you how to do that with something small and simple, a piece of furniture, before you'd ever try it with something bigger. Here's the exercise. First, it starts with sitting in your living room. Don't imagine a room or picture some future house you'll own someday. He says sit in the room you're actually in right now, today exactly as it is. This is important because the whole exercise is grounded in your real current environment rather than some far-off fantasy. Then name a piece of furniture, a rug, or a lamp that you'd like to have in that particular room. So the first actual step is just choosing something specific, not I want nice things in a vague sense, but picking one clear, concrete item. Maybe it's a green armchair, maybe it's a specific kind of rug, maybe it's a lamp you saw somewhere and liked. The point is to get very specific and concrete, because vague wishes are hard to feel strongly about, but a specific, clear object is much easier for your mind to actually picture and respond to emotionally. And next, you look at the actual spot in the room where you would put this item if you had it. So now you are not just thinking about the object floating somewhere abstract in your mind, but you are entering it to an exact real location in your real room. If it's a lamp, you look at the little table or corner where it would sit. If it's a rug, you look down at the patch of floor where it would lie. This step matters a lot because it makes the whole exercise concrete and specific instead of general. You are not imagining somewhere or someday I will have this thing, but you are imagining it in one exact spot you can literally point to right now with your eyes open. But before you start visualizing, here comes an interesting instruction. Close your eyes and in your imagination let everything that currently occupies that spot disappear completely. So whatever is really there right now, maybe empty floor, maybe another object, you mentally erase it and picture that exact area as totally empty, blank space with absolutely nothing on it. Do this because I want you to clear the mental slate first, like wiping a whiteboard clean before writing something new on it, or clearing a table before setting a new item down on it. Neville gives this because he wants a fresh, empty canvas in your mind first, so the new picture can be built cleanly without the old reality competing with it. So once you have got that clean, empty space clearly pictured in your mind's eye, then slowly start filling that empty spot with the object that you choose. And then sense and feel that you have it there. Imagine you are seeing that which you desire to see. Picture it vividly as if you are genuinely looking at it with your own eyes in the exact real spot in your real room right now. Build a full little scene, the shape of it, the color, the fact that it's sitting exactly where you are looking, as if it's truly physically there in front of you in this very moment. And then keep doing this, keep holding onto this imagined picture until you actually feel what he calls the thrill of possession. Stay with the imagined scene, keep sitting with it, keep looking at it in your mind, keep sensing it as real for as long as it takes until your actual emotions respond to it, until you feel a genuine little rush of excitement, satisfaction, or joy. The same kind of feeling you would naturally get if you looked over right now and saw that real object actually sitting there in your real room. It's the difference between briefly picturing something in a detached, mechanical way versus really sitting into the feeling of having it until your body and emotions actually believe it, even just for a moment. So this is a small, repeatable, very doable mental exercise meant to be practiced in your own real living room with your own real eyes closed. You pick one specific object that you want. You look at the exact spot where it would go. You mentally clear that spot completely so it's empty in your imagination. Then you slowly and vividly fill that space with the object as if you are truly seeing it there, building the picture in as much sensory detail as you can. And you don't stop or rush through it. You patiently stay with that imagined scene until it stops feeling like just imagining and starts producing a real, felt emotional thrill. And doing it will cause that same object to actually show up in your real living room, not through outward effort or striving, but because you first made it fully real and settled inside your own imagination and feeling. And the second step is this: the blessing or the making of a place real. You are now seated in your apartment in New York City, contemplating the joy that would be yours if you were on an ocean liner sailing across the great Atlantic. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Your eyes are closed, you have consciously released the New York apartment, and in its place you sense and feel that you are on an ocean liner. You are seated in a deck chair, there is nothing around you but the vast Atlantic. Fix the reality of this ship and ocean so that in this state you can mentally recall the day when you were seated in New York apartment dreaming of this day at sea. Recall the mental picture of yourself seated there in New York dreaming of this day. In your imagination, see the memory picture of yourself back there in your New York apartment. If you succeed in looking back on your New York apartment without consciously returning there, then you have successfully prepared the reality of this voyage. Remain in this conscious state, feeling the reality of the ship and the ocean. Feel the joy of this accomplishment. Then open your eyes. You have gone and prepared the place. You have fixed a definite psychological state, and where you are in consciousness, there you shall be in body also. Now you can see it's building on the same idea as the furniture exercise, except now instead of bringing an object into a room you are already in, now comes how to mentally transport yourself to a completely different place. A place you are not physically in yet, and make that place feel just as real as the room you are actually sitting in. Here is the specific scene. You are sitting in your apartment in New York City, and you are thinking about how wonderful it would feel to instead be out on the ocean, sailing across the Atlantic on a big ship. So right from the start, there is a contrast being set up. Here is where you actually are, that is the apartment, and there is where you'd rather be, that is a ship at sea. This is just like the furniture example, where there was a contrast between the empty spot in the room and the object you wanted to be there. Except now the contrast is between two entire locations instead of just one small object in a room. And he shows the Bible verse, I'm going ahead to prepare a place for you, and once I've prepared it, I will come back and bring you to be with me, so that where I am, you can be too. This is exactly the pattern we are about to practice. You are going to mentally go ahead into the desired place that is the ship. You are going to prepare it by imagining it clearly, and then when your imagination and your real physical body eventually line up, you will actually find yourself there too, in body, not just in thought. So the Bible verse is actually a description of a mental law. Wherever you dwell in your imagination with full conviction, your physical reality will eventually follow and catch up. So here is how to do it. You close your eyes and consciously release the New York apartment, meaning let go of the mental grip on your current surroundings. Stop paying attention to the fact that you are really sitting in that apartment, and in its place, sense and feel that you are instead on an ocean liner. Picture yourself seated in a deck chair, and around you there's nothing but the huge open ocean, the vast Atlantic. So just like in the furniture example, where you cleared the spot in the room and then filled it with a new object, here you are clearing your entire environment in your imagination, letting the apartment fade away completely, and replacing it with a full, vivid new environment, the ship, the deck chair, the ocean stretching out in every direction. And then comes the part that makes this example a bit more advanced than the furniture one. So once you are mentally settled into this scene on the ship, don't stop there, go a step further. From this imagined vantage point on the ship, mentally look back and remember the day when you were sitting in your New York apartment dreaming about this very trip. Treat your apartment, your actual real current location, as a memory, as something in the past, as if the voyage has already happened and you are now recalling from the ship what it was like to once sit in that apartment wishing you were here. So instead of imagining, I hope one day I will be on a ship, you are doing something more powerful. You are imagining that you are already on the ship and looking back at the apartment as an old memory of a time before you had this experience. Because if you can successfully do that, if you can feel yourself on the ship looking back at the apartment as a past memory, then you have successfully done the real inner work of preparing the place. So the test of whether you have truly succeeded is not whether you can picture a ship for a few seconds, it's whether you can flip the sense of now and past so convincingly in your imagination that the ship feels like your present reality and the apartment feels like old history. Then, just like in the furniture example, stay in this imagined state, really feeling the reality of the ship and the ocean around you, and to let yourself feel joy, the emotional satisfaction of having accomplished this trip, this experience that you wanted. And only after really sitting with the feeling, you open your eyes and come back to your literal physical surroundings. So you have gone and prepared the place, you have fixed a definite psychological state, and where you are in consciousness, there you shall be in body also. So your body, your physical location, your actual real world circumstances will follow whatever your consciousness and your inner sense of I has settled and taken root. And the third is the blessing or making real of a point in time. You consciously let go of this day, month or year, as the case may be, and you imagine that it is now that day, month or year, which you desire to experience. You sense and feel the reality of the desired time by impressing upon yourself the fact that it is now accomplished. As you sense the naturalness of this time, you begin to feel the thrill of having fully realized that which before you started this psychological journey in time you desired to experience at this time. And with the knowledge of your power to bless, you can open the doors of any prison, the prison of illness or poverty or of a humdrum existence. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment, and see you in the next video.